Now, here's the hosts of Top Story, Kelly Klass and Jill Skeen.
Good morning and welcome to Top Story. 7360300 is always the number to call. I wanted to find some music this morning for ice skating, but how do you do that?
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun,
Dun,
oh, that would have been a good one. Yeah.
dun,
What's the name of
dun,
that's the
dun.
something waltz.
I have no idea. Yeah, something waltz. Some waltz. Dun, dun. They always play that. They play it in the background as people are wiping out in slow motion on the news.
That's
You always see
right.
that.
That's right.
My.
Well,
Is it slick out today?
If ever there was an excuse to wipe out, it's this morning.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Please
Yeah.
be careful out there.
We do have, although I'm sitting here wondering, all these schools are closed, and here it is, only November 14th. What are we going to do when winter gets here?
Well,
We're already wimping out.
But remember, last year we sort of got early snowstorms, and then we really didn't get much the rest of the winter. Remember? I mean, all the ski things opened early.
Until we were ready for spring, and then winter hit.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Well,
but,
we do have some school closures. It would probably be easier to announce the schools that are still in session, but
Who is that? Is there one?
Yeah.
Who?
And we've been giving CSI, kind of some hard times over the past few weeks because of some of the issues they have. But today, I'm like a shout out to CSI. They're holding classes today. Yes, they're not wimping out on this little bit of weather that we're having here. Holy cow.
Well, there you
CSI
go.
is open today, and Doug Maughan is here to prove it. And Ella Donahue with CSI will be with us at 8:20 with a CSI update.
That's right.
St. Edward's is closed. Canyon Side Christian in Jerome is closed. Xavier Charter School is closed. All of these are closed, okay? Filer, Hagerman, Jerome Day Treatment, Twin Falls Schools. That's an unusual move.
Wiley, you're getting soft.
I'll say, man.
Superintendent of the year,
you're
and now
wimping
he's
out
soft.
on us here.
That's probably why. Give the kids another day off.
Lighthouse Christian, Wendell Friday programs, Buell, Murtaugh, Best Beginnings Protocol, Canyon Side Christian, Twin Falls Christian, and probably more by now, but most schools are closed today.
Well,
I guess
anyway,
people are having a hard time getting
You know what? Well, is the interstate still closed?
Apparently so, yes. There's a bunch of trucks that are piled up at milepost 201 at the Kasota Road exit. I have a friend who was driving truck through there at the time. He was updating me on what was going on. They are diverting traffic along the frontage road, but he said, be careful there because there are parts along the frontage road that are very slick. And in fact, there are trucks that were spinning out at one of those intersections too. He made it through, but it's kind of a mess out there.
Making it and driving and texting at the same time.
No,
My
he
goodness,
wasn't
keep your
doing
hands
that.
on the wheel.
He would pull when he was stopped. He would keep me updated.
Okay,
and then,
please be careful
that's
out
right.
there.
That's right. He wouldn't do that. 7360300 is the number. Do you have a weather report for us? Good morning.
I do. You're throwing my thunder. Yeah, the exit 201 is, that's where the crash happened. They're still jammed up, blocking both lanes of traffic westbound. So they're running on the frontage road, like you said. It's like a sheet of ice over there. So, but I go from Boise to Burley every day, and it's flush now. But I guess last night it was a sheet of ice. So just take it easy.
Did you? So you made it. You made it through, apparently, huh?
Yeah, Boise was the worst part, and once you got through Mountain Home, it turned into slush, and it's warming up.
Was Boise bad last night?
Yes.
What
yes,
time?
It was. Well, actually, I started at 2 a.m. That's when I work, and it was nasty. So,
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I haven't made it to Burley yet. 2 hours behind, but that's okay. I get paid by the hour.
There you go.
Be
Hey, thanks for the
out
update. We
there.
appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
All right,
Okay.
we'll see you. Well, so there you go. There's the latest update. So the interstate is still closed at Kasota Road. Still pretty bad there. And it's raining here in our parking lot and everything. I mean, it's just like an ice skating.
The ice, it was. I almost wiped out.
I was out there a moment ago throwing that ice
Salt?
melt around on the parking lot, on the sidewalk, everywhere, because it's just, I mean, it's when It's a freezing rain. There's no question about that.
It's a freezing rain.
So-
Tom had to take me to work because I'm getting my tire rods on.
Oh,
today.
you're finally going to get some new tie rods, huh?
Yeah, because they were
They're not-
shot.
They're not tire rods. They're
Whatever they
tie
are,
rods.
whatever the tie rods are for my tires. So at least I'll feel safe with having those. I mean, my car's 13 years old. Give me a break.
That's
I'm sure a lot of things are shot.
That's nothing.
Well, I told you a few more recalls will be brand new.
That's right. Well, this spacecraft that traveled 4 billion miles to a comet 300 million miles away and landed on the comet.
Mm-hmm.
That thing is 10 years old. 10
Yeah.
years old flying through that kind of an environment.
So
and it landed.
2004.
The
The interesting thing about that is, because you were laughing yesterday about how they hit the hole-in-one, but it apparently bounced twice. One bounce took it into the air 2 hours before it landed again. They didn't even know if it was going to land on the comet again, and then landed again, and then the other bounce was 6 minutes. I mean, crazy. They're afraid to move the thing because they're worried it's lucky it landed on the comet. Can you imagine being up there for 2 hours and then coming down again?
and missing it.
Ooh.
If that, as I've said, with what they've gone through so far, excuse me, with what they've gone through so far, if that mission ended now, it would be a resounding success. I know that they have a lot of plans for it, and they don't know if they're going to be able to do that now because the solar panels on the craft are in the shade.
I know.
And it's only getting about 90 minutes of sunshine every 12 hours. That's not enough to keep the batteries charged.
Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck, when you
I
need them,
know.
please get there and turn it over so it can get the, the
Get
sunshine.
Get the space shuttle up there
and
and
charge
fix that
the
thing.
batteries, and so humanity can know what's in this comet.
Don't forget to stop by Sears and pick up a battery charger and run up there and get that done.
Come on, where are you? Save the
anyway.
world, save the comet.
As I said, we have Ella Donahue from CSI with an update here at 8:20. She made it in okay.
Well, that's good. I mean, you know what? You can if you go slowly. It's the ones that don't that fly by you, and you're like, come on,
I've
dude.
got four-wheel drive. I can go anywhere.
It
I'm
doesn't-
bulletproof. By
that's-
golly, get out of my way.
Doesn't stop you when you're sliding. So, what do you call them? Lugheads, luggerheads, lugheads.
Coming up at 8:30, we got a couple of comedians here from Canyon Crest Dining and Event Center. They're going to they got dates this weekend at Canyon Crest.
Yes.
As we do today.
One
at
starting
noon.
tonight. Yeah.
We're going there at noon today for our winter's lunch at the Canyon Crest Dining and Event Center. Free lunch with Kelly and Jill, Jim Winsveen and his brother Frank.
Yeah. I hope the limo has 4-wheel drive.
I don't think it does, Jill. But don't
Wow.
worry, I'll be sitting
We'll
in it.
have a
That'll
lot.
weight it down.
We have a lot of weight in the back. I will be fine.
Actually, we'll put you up on the hood and just let you talk, and
Yeah.
that'll melt the ice in front of us.
Oh, you're so funny.
But at any rate,
I know. I'll just fly there on my broom. Don't worry,
Hey,
Kelly.
that's a good
What a
idea.
fabulous idea.
At 9 o'clock, we have Nathan Jerky with the Idaho Transportation Department. How timely is that, huh?
Very timely. Nathan,
Yeah.
what up with those roads?
Yeah. What did you do this for?
How'd you prepare?
What is going on?
I know. Well, I can't even believe he has time to even talk to us, frankly.
I know. Well, maybe he doesn't this morning. I got a hold of him yesterday, and things were fine. But,
He's coming in studio?
yep. Oh, yeah. And I think he comes. Well, I don't know. I think he doesn't live in Shoshone, I don't believe. That's where he works. That's where his office is.
Maybe he wants
I
to
don't know
hide.
if he's-
Maybe he wants to hide out here so he doesn't have to get all these calls.
He might.
I'll hide in a
he can come
radio
in here,
station.
turn his cell phone off, not have to worry about it for a whole hour.
Yeah.
So, at any rate, well, we got
and
some
it's
news.
also Open Mind Friday. It's Friday.
Yeah. Open Mind Friday. So we got a couple of minutes before the first break, and then we have Ella, and then we'll have the comedians, and then
Then we
we'll
have a segment.
Then we'll have a segment. I want to talk about this. I'm not going to talk about it now, but just a little teaser.
The
here.
comet.
There's a 10th grade biology teacher in Nampa who slaughtered and prepared a bunny rabbit in front of his biology class.
I thought you were going to tell the whole thing. You just told the whole thing.
Well, but
Where's the hook?
That's not the whole thing.
The class is biology.
I know, and he's in trouble.
Yeah.
That's the hook. He is in trouble. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Come on.
because that's biology.
We're gonna talk about that here in a little bit.
I mean, it
so.
sounds like a class Kelton Hatch could teach.
I
Come
know.
on. But I don't think it's called biology. But anyway, we digress. We'll talk about this when? At 8:40?
Yeah, at 8:40.
Okay.
And, here's something you might be interested in. Everybody's on their cell phones this morning. You're on your cell phone this morning, right? You're calling work. You're saying, I'm going to be late.
You're texting.
Guess who's listening? Federal law enforcement agents reportedly fly small planes loaded with gear to spy on Americans' cell phone calls. On Thursday, the Wall Street Journal cited unnamed sources who said the planes carry a box that serves as a dummy cell phone site. That device mimics actual towers, duping nearby cell phones and connecting to it instead of a real phone company tower. According to the report, the federal government gathers the data from Cessna airplanes and can cover most of the U.S. population. These devices typically trick phones into sharing its location data and revealing the phone's identity.
Yeah, but they're not listening to your conversations. It's almost like that GPS thing that Kelton talked about. You drive by and you know who lives there or whatever. You know what? Like I said before, if the government wants to listen to my conversations, have fun. If you want to hear about food or recipes, you want to talk about death by chocolate, fine. Maybe you can help me find a few sponsors. That would be great. I would welcome the help. You can be on my committee. I don't care. You can listen to anything I'm saying. I don't care. You can help me out. Please do something. Maybe you know someone. Maybe you know a candy vendor that wants to participate. Feel free. Who cares?
On the credits for your pamphlet, you can put the helpers were Jill Scheme, and the entire staff of the NSA.
Yeah, that's what I said. My best committee helper was the NSA, who found me my 82 sponsors, my 25 vendors. Thank you, and sold the most ticket sales.
There you go.
Thank you. Who cares? I mean, they're collecting data. I have no idea. I don't even know how you could store this all. Who knows? If
they're storing
where?
it. Believe me.
What? Why? Why do you need it?
20 years down the road, when we are arrested for subversion or something, they're going to go back to our cell phone records from 20 years ago and say, hey, this is what this guy or this gal said.
Really?
Yeah, let's
Come
nail
get
them to
me.
the wall. They're guilty. Throw them in jail.
How bored
It's
could
the
you
Minority
be?
Report. They are planning to commit a crime a year from now. Let's arrest them now and throw them in jail.
Help me
Welcome
help
to
me with death by chocolate, please.
We got Ella Donahue next
Okay.
with the CSI update. 7360300 is the number to call. Welcome back. And today is the day that many of you who have a feedlot or dairy operation and don't have a low and honey loader are probably wishing you had one.
Yeah.
Because they handle
Just turn that bad boy on.
That's right. They handle all sorts of manure, anywhere from liquid to frozen and dry. And today there's probably liquid and frozen. You know, you're probably getting a combination of it today.
I would say probably frozen.
So to handle that, a lot of the feedlots and dairies in this area have gone to the low and honey loader from Stanley and Company. And what you can do is get one from Pat Hartzell with Stanley and Company, but you might like to see one in operation first. Today would be a good day to do that. Get a hold of Pat Hartzell, and he can set you up so you can see one of these that's operating today or tomorrow. And you might decide that this is in your future. Pat Hartzell at 280-1167 with Stanley and Company. Ella Donahue, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ella. Thanks for coming in on this crazy, icy, snowy day.
Oh, it's no big deal.
See there, a girl
No
after my
big
own
deal.
heart. No big deal.
Whatever.
Just around here we call this a Friday.
This is a
You
Friday.
know, come on.
Got to earn your weekend.
That's right.
Oh, man. There you go. Have you
So-
earned it yet?
Yes.
Okay.
So what's going on at CSI?
Well, the women's basketball team's Coca-Cola Classic Tournament is tonight and tomorrow at the CSI gym. They're going to play Nellis Air Force at 7:30 tonight and Sheridan, Wyoming at 7:30 tomorrow.
That
Okay.
is assuming that they can get here.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah. Of course, they might already be here.
They might be.
They're from Wyoming, man. They can get anywhere.
This is not,
they're
are you
probably
kidding?
good.
This is
Another
shirt sleeve weather.
Friday.
This is
They're like,
setting,
"What snow?"
setting in the shade, drinking a cool one weather
What's
in
snow?
Wyoming. Are you kidding
It's
me?
actually the ice that gets you, but whatever. Okay, so what else you got?
We have the CSI Percussion Ensemble. They're doing a free fall concert at 7:30 next Wednesday night in the Fine Arts Fine Arts Theater.
Is there enough room in that theater to do a free fall concert?
Well, they've been doing it for a while, so I'm sure they have probably figured it out where to be.
Okay, I was just wondering, because when you're in your free fall, I mean, that takes a lot of room. But anyway, go ahead. I digress here.
Yeah.
It's Friday. He's earning it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So anyway, so it's free of charge?
Yes, it is free of charge.
A free fall concert.
Free fall concert.
I saw that
Free
as
fall.
free fall concert.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Everybody jumps out of a plane and then
They're
they play their
playing.
instruments
They
while
jump
they're
off
falling
the
through the sky.
Stage.
That would be a sight to see.
That's the finale.
Where's
Okay.
Guinness Book of World Records when you need it?
I don't know. They're following Al Roker. All right. So you got 2 more events next Thursday.
Yes, the CSI Stage Door Series as the Boise Film Underground brings 2 independent films to CSI. The music score will be performed live as you sit on stage with the musicians. Admission is $10 per person across the campus at the Harrett Center. You can have that same evening, Chris Anderson will tell you why stars sometimes explode and what happens to them in space when they do. That is in the bi-monthly Astronomy Talk Thursday night at 6:30 p.m. in the Harris Center, Rick Allen's room. Admission is $250 per person.
That's right, because you want to know why stars explode sometimes, don't you, Cal?
Yeah. Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Chris is so interesting. Everyone,
I know.
He can make anything interesting.
Yeah.
He really can.
He can make changing a flat tire interesting.
I know.
Well, that's talent.
So, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I wish I had a teacher like him. Anyway.
So what else we got?
2 big events next weekend, the 45th annual CSI Ski Swap in the Rec Center with all kinds of used and new winter gear.
That's always a big one.
Oh, yes. Check your gear in on Thursday afternoon or Friday morning next week, and then the sale goes all day Friday and Saturday. Also, the first ever holiday artisan bazaar put on by the CSI student nurses. That'll be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday the 22nd at the Health Science Building on North College Road.
So what do you mean? So they're all talented and crafty too, the nurses?
Yeah, they got
and
a lot
it's
of
their
talent over there.
artwork? Wow.
You know, I hope that a lot of this is regular handmade stuff because a lot of the things that they call themselves craft bazaars, it's like 80% is the stuff from China.
Yeah.
You know?
No, well, it sounds like the nurses have made the stuff. That's kind of neat.
that
And
is.
the ski swap a few years ago, Tom and I we upgraded our ski equipment there, and it was such a bargain. It was all brand new stuff, and it was great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great place to. I mean, I'm not into skiing.
No,
the
but
last time I tried it, I knocked the mountain down. But you know, I mean.
No, but that is really great, and a lot of people go there. But honestly, if you have some kids that are starting to ski, you can get some ski boots that are used, and just at a fraction of the price, and skis and poles. And
or if you just want to try it and you don't want to put a bunch of money into it for something you might not like, or you might break your neck the first time out.
Right.
What a waste of money that would be. So
that is huge. That if people like to
dollar.
ski and you want to upgrade your stuff, they have some great stuff there. That's for
right.
sure.
That's right.
So Ella, when are finals?
The week of the 17th, because I always have one on my birthday.
Wait, November or December?
December.
So when do you get off for Thanksgiving? Do you guys get a whole week off or just Thanksgiving?
We get off on I think they go to school Monday and Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. I don't have classes on Wednesday, so I don't really pay attention to that fact.
So you get Wednesday, Thursday.
Off.
Do you get Friday off too? Day
Yes.
after Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Oh, so 3 days. Nice.
Bunch of sissies. We ought to work on Friday after Thanksgiving, Christmas
We
in the
do,
nighttime
don't
sky.
we?
Well, my
Yes, we
uncle,
do.
he only gets one day. He gets Thanksgiving, and then he has to go to work the Wednesday before and the Friday after.
That's
where
called
does he
life.
He works at the Correctional Center. I don't know what that was about. Center in Nampa.
Oh, well, those
He's a
prisoners,
teacher.
they got to be watched all the
They
time.
actually
He's
have
a teacher.
They have to be fed and stuff too.
I don't know why. Just give them a bunch of supplies
Hey,
before
hey,
the
hey,
holidays.
hey,
Be like, you got it. You guys are good.
That's right.
These
yeah.
are people,
we'll
too.
see you in a few days.
Be nice,
All right.
people.
We'll be right back with a bunch of comedians.
That's right.
All right. Thanks, Ella. Appreciate
Thanks,
it. See you
Ella.
next time. And we're back. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to announce that we've hired a couple of new people to do weather reports for us
I
today.
know,
and
finally,
school
because
closers.
Kelly's retiring.
Yeah, that's right. We got Rick Delia and Oscar Ovius.
All right. Hey, nailed. You got the
Yeah,
name.
they
All right.
nailed it right out of the box.
40 years in radio, this man who's retiring at the end of the year. He can nail anything. There you go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
As his
that's-
sidekick, you're pretty liberal with that statement.
I am very
nail
liberal
anything.
with this statement.
Oh, you have no idea.
Actually, he does. I found out he's from Boston. Boston.
Yeah, we're
so-
fellow
Oh,
fellow
God.
Bostonians.
Yeah. He's
Every time
wicked
I turn
awesome.
around, there's somebody from the east coming out here to reinforce you, Jill.
So
I
you
don't
know
know.
it's amazing. We were talking about it before we came in. Like I don't know if it snows that often here in Idaho, but
Not really.
where we're from in Boston,
This is
the only way
nothing.
there's a school closing is if there's a shooting. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
we don't.
Bam!
You guys got like an
Exactly.
inch of snow. Yeah, the roads are a little slick.
A little
I know.
slick, but
Hey, I have to tell you, I've lived here for 62 years, and I think we kind of wimped out today because I have seen worse conditions than this, and they never closed the schools. Now, some of the outlying schools where a lot of the kids are rural, they will close them. Twin Falls schools were like about 80% of the kids live in town. They hardly ever close them, but they did today. Man, I don't know
And
why.
you know, I got to be honest with you. Sorry if I'm cutting you out. I'm
please cut him off.
thrilled that some of the schools were canceled because as a fourth-year senior at Twin Falls Christian, I had a big trig exam this afternoon,
did you?
and now I get out of it because I didn't even study last night.
Oh.
And that's not the math exam. That's a test about Sarah Palin's kid. Not
Whoa!
Ah,
Oh, bam! Bam! Got it.
Not giving an opinion one way or
a no,
another.
no, it's just a
Because-
basic information
yeah,
exam.
yeah, sure.
And then the calls start lighting up. Here we go.
Okay.
So the one thing we have noticed, because we've been doing the rounds all morning, and obviously the big topic is all the school closures, but there are a handful of schools out there that are still open for business, and no one's
Right.
really reporting on it. So Rick and I, we brought a list of the schools that are still open for business. You guys mind if
Oh,
we
cool.
give
Yeah,
No,
go ahead.
Just to
actually, I've
make
been
sure-
looking for exactly that and didn't
Well,
know where to go.
yeah,
you know?
Because you know what happens? A lot of kids go back to bed. They're like, oh, I don't have school today. But you're like, hey, maybe your school did not close.
There's
Yeah.
a couple out there, like at the top of our list, the first school. It's still all these are still open for business. We have the Hogwarts School of Wizardry and Science. That's still
cool. Yeah.
still open.
Yeah. I was going to mention that, and I forgot.
Police academies 1, 3, and 5.
right.
All right.
Not 2, 4, and 6, which is weird. I don't understand.
just
That's
the
odd.
odd
That's an interesting one.
It's just odd people that are working
Right.
today, going to school.
Rick and I's actually it's our alma mater is open for business. It's the School of Hard Knocks.
Oh.
That never
Bam.
closes.
I graduated from there
Yeah.
in,
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
1993, 95, 98, and 2004.
I got an honorary GED.
Yeah, yeah, right. The good enough degree. Okay,
What
great.
else? We have
Rydell High School is still open, and believe it or not, still Grease is the word
That's
at
true.
Rydell High School.
And then this is a biggie. I'm actually shocked about this one. Ridgemont High is actually open still today for
Right.
business. However, the roads around in the nearby area are very, very slick, so be very careful. So, I mean, I guess you could say right now it's slow times at Ridgemont High.
Oh.
Heyo.
Hey-o,
Yeah.
watch it. The jokes will be better at the comedy show tonight, which is why we're here. We have
obviously
neglected
winging
to
it.
mention that. We've been talking for a
You're
couple
going to be
minutes.
at the where? Canyon Crest.
Canyon Crest,
Yacht
Motor Lodge,
and Marina.
and Gin
And,
Distillery. I don't know. It's the Canyon
and Funky
Crest
Time
Yacht
Jamboree.
Club. Yeah. Oh, hey, this is just on the AP wire. We do have a closing, kids. The Phoenix University Online has closed due to the snow. So apparently, the information highway couldn't get
Very
plowed.
slick.
Again,
very
the,
slick.
the jokes will be better at the show, I promise.
Well, actually, that's very timely because right now Idaho's in the middle of a lawsuit and getting broadband to the schools, and there's all kinds of controversy. So you could absolutely
The
be
highway
right.
has been
We're not-
hijacked.
You're not
Yeah.
supposed to call them broads. They're females.
I
Right?
know.
Right,
Come
okay.
on, Kelly.
Okay.
Come on.
The female band highway. Okay, whatever.
Oh
Can we
yeah.
have any respect? We are running out of time. What time tonight? Yeah, how much? How much are tickets? What time?
Well, hey, for the first, I don't know how you guys want to do it, but we're giving away 2 tickets because we love you guys.
Yay! Yay! Yay!
Have you got them?
Yeah, they're at the. You talk to your gal at the front desk.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
cool, yeah.
So if you don't win them, how much do you have to pay?
Weird, yeah.
The information's on
$10.
the website.
Not
It's
enough.
$10,
Not
you
enough.
guys.
I'll tell you that. Not enough.
I don't know.
$10 in advance, 15 at the door,
Cheap
and
at twice the price.
yeah.
The show starts at 8:30, so please come on out. We know the roads are a little iffy right now, but they're going to be good tonight, so brave it.
You
carpool.
soccer moms out there, you have a minivan for a reason.
Exactly. Carpool.
This is the perfect opportunity.
Bring juice boxes and snacks.
Yes.
It'll be good. Come on.
So 8:30 to 10:30. Are you guys going to be family friendly, or is it going to be
It's
like?
going to be PG-13
Okay.
to maybe entry-level R. So not too
nothing
clean,
too
not
bad.
too dirty.
Okay.
Very middle
A
of the
lot
road.
of people want to know that.
The most
especially
important
out
thing
here.
is it'll be funny. That's what's important.
Gateway R, huh?
Gateway R.
R.
Yeah.
That's right. That's awesome. And Rick, being from the Boston, you wrote a great book. You actually 2 books, huh?
Yeah,
I love
did.
the first one, How to Talk to a Yankee Fan.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
Is there anything written in that, or is it just blank pages?
Well, you would think. It's funny because Bill Lee, former pitcher for the Boston Red Sox, wrote the foreword.
Oh.
Actually, and that was his joy. He said when when I was asked to write,
We're
the
going to
foreword-
run out of time.
Oh,
you want
sorry.
to hang around? You want to? Hey, it's Friday. It's I don't. Do you
We
want
have
Jill?
one more.
Jill doesn't.
You got
like-
another.
do.
They got
Yeah.
another station.
But we
Ah,
can come
heck
back.
with
Look,
them.
we love you guys.
Hey,
Thank you.
tonight, Canyon Crest, 8:30,
Okay.
10:30, $10 in advance, 15
right.
at the door. You guys are funny, and
Jill's the boss.
look
It's going
for.
to be a blast, guys. Come
I'm
on out.
sorry.
No.
7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Welcome back. Oh, I know what I was going to do.
Wait, are you getting a little distracted there,
I
Kelly
am.
Claus?
I am so distracted this morning. Just lots of stuff going on, but I'm not too distracted to tell you about the folks at Canyon Pawn. They've got guns. They've got camping stuff, and I sit here every day and I tell you what they've got. And I just happen to think I'm kind of ruining the punchline. Rather than me sitting here telling you what they have at Canyon Pawn, you need to go down there and find out for yourself.
Just go down there. Would you lose all your copy points?
Yeah, no. Every day is a surprise.
Every day.
It's a new inventory.
Are we going to make it to December 31st? I don't know. Every
Well,
day is a surprise with you.
We were in there, a couple of weeks ago? Maybe it was 3 weeks ago now.
Yeah, maybe.
And nice, clean store. It's guaranteed it's the cleanest pawn shop you're going to run into in Twin Falls.
It's cleaner
maybe
than a
even-
lot of stores, just any stores.
That's
I know,
the
it's
truth.
beautiful.
It was just clean as a whistle. So don't be afraid to go in there. They got all sorts of neat stuff, guns, and like I said, woodworking supplies, and just all sorts of stuff. They had a
Yeah.
table saw in there. They had a router, scroll saw.
Bicycles, which would
Man.
be a great little holiday
Yeah,
gift. They
yeah.
cooking stuff. Who knows what they have now? We should probably just go back every
That's just
few
it.
weeks and have lunch and go back.
That's just it. We'll do that.
Maybe they'll give us the red carpet treatment because last
Yeah.
time they acted like they didn't know we were coming. It's like, do you not listen to the show, Dave? Come on. We said we were coming.
They were too busy handling their customers.
They were.
So anyway,
The nerve.
they're on Shoshone Street across from Will's Toyota. Stop in and say howdy.
Yes, please do.
Okay, here's the scoop, my friend. A 10th grade biology teacher has apologized, of all things, after a lesson last week aimed at teaching students where their food comes from left some of the poor little snowflakes feeling a little queasy.
Oh, do you think anyone would think this was? You don't think an adult would feel queasy on this?
Hey, they didn't have to
Buckle up,
be there.
people.
They
Buckle up.
didn't have to be. Here's a shocker for you kids. All of your groceries don't come from the grocery store. No kidding. Okay, a teacher brought in a rabbit.
Peter Rabbit.
And yeah, Peter, a
That
little,
they grew
little,
up listening to the
Peter
story on.
Cottontail,
Well, okay, go on.
and did a demonstration about how a rabbit would be prepared as food for a family. According to
Because so
Allison
many people eat
Westfall,
rabbit. Go on.
according to Allison Westfall, the Nampa School District spokeswoman, the teacher placed the live rabbit in a restraining device and then snapped its neck in front of the class. Oh, the rabbit was also skinned and cut up as part of the demonstration. I gasped a little bit too hard there.
Did you? Oh, I'm so sorry, Kelly.
Westfall says the educator, who has a farm and raises animals to be eaten, was initially reluctant to show the students how to prepare a rabbit for a meal. But when the students asked a second time, he relented. The killing was not mandatory viewing for the 16 biology students. The students had asked that the teacher do this demonstration, and when the rabbit was brought in, he gave the opportunity to students to not view the demonstration. Some of the students who elected to stay were upset by the display.
I'm sure they were.
And the school got a handful of comments from parents who felt killing an animal in the classroom is ill-advised.
Why do you think it's okay?
I think it is the
First of
cycle
all,
of life. It is
fine.
reality. Why do we have all these kids going out and shooting their friends? It's because we've mollycoddled them up clear through college. This is reality. This is
What
life.
is the matter
what about
with you?
kids who go out hunting
This
all
is
the
not
time?
a
They have
biology
seen them.
curriculum.
They didn't have to be there.
Why?
They didn't have to
If
be
the
there.
students ask the teacher to smoke pot, would that be okay because they ask you to do it? Do you do it?
Smoking pot is illegal, Jill.
in some
Killing
states,
a rabbit and eating it is not.
Some states it is legal, but my point is this isn't even biology class. This isn't part of the curriculum.
It's not biology.
That is not
what is
biology. That is not biology.
The teacher is now facing disciplinary action. Can you believe this? Although Westfall declined to specify whether he had been suspended from teaching, the district is also not releasing the educator's name. It's not appropriate in the 10th grade class.
Yeah.
These are 16-year-old kids. In some parts of the world, some of them even here, they're having babies by the time they are 16.
But we don't talk about that. We can't use the word vagina in Shoshone science class. My gosh.
It wasn't approved by the administration, and it's not part of biology class.
It's not part of biology class.
So that judgment is not appropriate for that type of lesson in the classroom at 10th grade.
I agree.
Crying out
What
loud.
does that have to do with biology?
He should be teacher of the year.
Really? To
All
kill
the kids
to kill
should
a rabbit
see that.
and skin
All
it?
the kids should understand the
Guess
cycle
how
of
many
life.
people will become vegetarians because of that?
That's
Thank
fine.
you very much.
If they want to do that, that's fine.
That's outrageous.
How many kids, how many people, for that matter, realize that the meat you see at the meat counter at the grocery store actually comes from feedlots?
Why didn't he just
and it's
go
not
and
grown
shoot?
in the back of the
Why
store?
didn't he just shoot a cow and skin it? My gosh,
That
it's not
would be
part. But
fine.
it's not part of biology class.
So what? There's a lot of things you do in school that's not part of the class.
Really? And
yes.
then when it is part of the class and the teachers complain about teaching about anatomy, oh my goodness, that is part of the class. But biology class, that's not to skin it, kill a rabbit and skin it is not biology. Did he cook it too? I mean, wouldn't that be home ec or something?
He should have, and then they would have had lunch.
Oh,
then they would have had the full cycle of the demonstration.
Right.
What do you think? Should the teacher get in trouble, or was he out of line? 7360300. Top story. You're on the air.
Well, most people weren't raised like you and I, butchering animals and so forth. That's a bit of a shock to the Eastern sissies like Jill that don't know about butchering animals.
Really?
But, for some of these people from Chicago and Massachusetts, they don't understand butchering animals.
This was Nampa.
Especially in Chicago,
Nampa.
they don't seem to have a hard time in killing people, but killing a rabbit, oh my heavens.
Would you kill someone in class and go, here's how you kill someone?
No.
I mean, it's not part
now
of...
you're being ridiculous.
No, this isn't part of biology class.
So
this isn't
what?
biology. So what? He's a biology
It could be part
teacher.
of biology
so
class.
anytime a student... I'm surprised. Anytime a student asks a teacher to do something, you should do something. I mean, who's the teacher? Who's the student?
This
you
was
have
a
a
good
curriculum.
lesson.
What
This
was the
an
lesson
excellent
in?
lesson.
What was the lesson in?
It's called the cycle of life, Jill.
Really? They need
Yes.
to hear that. Why don't they teach them about where babies are made, and maybe half these kids won't be pregnant by the time they graduate?
Maybe they
Talking
do.
about the cycle
Maybe
of life.
they do.
Not in Idaho, they don't.
7360300. Top story. You're on the air.
Yes, when I did biology, they had frogs. What's the difference?
Do they still have frogs?
I don't think they still do that.
I think they have to do it on computer now because too many of the snowflakes were upset about the dead frog in the jar of formaldehyde.
You're right.
Oh, I don't know. We are raising a generation of sissies, ladies
Why
and
is it
gentlemen.
a sissy that
And
you don't
unless
want to
we
see
turn around
an
here
animal killed
and
in front of your
start
eyes?
showing these kids the reality of life, things are just going to get worse.
We can't even teach them about the birds and the bees. Give me a break.
Are you kidding? They do that every day.
They do not.
They do.
That's why we have the highest pregnancy rate in this
They're
county.
teaching them in school. I
No,
learned
they aren't.
that
They're
in
teaching.
junior
They're
high.
teaching them in the back seat of a car.
Oh, yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Okay, 7360300. Top story. You're on the air. Was he out of line or should he get an award?
Oh, he was totally in line. We don't know what the teaching curriculum was going on that day. As the man cut up the rabbit, did he say, well, here is the lungs, here is the heart, here is the digestive system? heavens, it might have been a total educational teaching class.
See, that's what I.
But apparently,
thinking.
according to his administration, it was not part of biology class, and it was not appropriate for that type of lesson, they said. So the school was not behind that. That wasn't in the curriculum.
Okay.
If that happened to your 10th grader, what would you do?
Let's take a world history class. And all of a sudden something goes on in world history where you've got your instructor going on up and saying, well, all these African innocent girls were kidnapped and raped and sold as slaves in Africa. Is that part of world history? It's not very pleasant to talk about, but it happens every day.
But if this isn't part of the curriculum, it isn't part of his curriculum to take a rabbit, break its neck, skin it in front of his students. So is that really part of biology when you're supposed to be talking about cell and function and growth and study of life and living organisms? I mean, they said this isn't part of the curriculum. I don't think he should have done it.
Dissect a frog, but you can't dissect a rabbit.
Well, I don't think they dissected it. He killed it and skinned it in front of them.
That's part of dissecting. You
Apparently,
got to get the
it's not
skin off so you can dissect them.
I don't think he went on to dissect it. He probably went on to saute it.
Well, that would
He
be
was talking
fine
about
too.
that's
the kid
not part of
probably
this
would have
class.
been impressed with that.
You know, it's amazing to me that, when you actually teach science in a class, the Dietrich teacher is suspended for saying the word vagina, but here, you actually kill something in class outside of your curriculum, and that's
science?
okay.
That's not science?
Apparently, it's not biology. And the
they're
school
wrong.
said that.
It is biology.
Oh,
That's what biology is.
That is not what biology is.
What is biology?
To sit there and kill an animal in front of you and skin it, that's not biology.
It's part
learning
of it.
about. Apparently, it's not, Kelly, and I've taken biology classes. So
have I.
Have you?
7360300.
Maybe they teach them differently out in Idaho than they did in Ohio.
Obviously.
Clearly.
Top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Hi. Hey, I think it's interesting. I would bet that the last 3 men who called in voted for Ybarra. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
But my other
This
thing
might be our new biology classes going forward.
Exactly. Right. Seriously. I mean, that was an ignorant comment that one man made about like the East Coast.
Yeah.
If you're going to call in, have an educated opinion, but to just be degrading is so ridiculous and it's embarrassing. But why I called was this teacher should have known better. First of all, he should have sent a letter home to the parents. If it was an opt-in or opt-out assignment, then that's fine, but send a note home to the parents so the parents are aware. I would clear with my administration first and say, hey, this is what the students want. This is what I would like to do in the classroom. And the principal can okay it or say, no, that's not okay. And yeah, you don't do it just because the kids asked. Are you kidding me?
I know.
That's
Could you
ridiculous.
imagine? What would the
So
kids
in this
ask you to do?
situation-
So we can't teach the cycle of life in school anymore.
No. That's not even the point of this. The point is the teacher should have known better. The teacher is the adult and the one in charge of the classroom. The teacher knows that you go through you have to, for your curriculum, you have to get some things approved. If you're thinking outside of the box, that's great. But you should have these things approved first, and your principal should be on board and be aware of what's going on. And if you're doing something like this, when there was dissecting, parents were always aware of what was happening. And you could say, yes, I want my child to participate, or no, I don't want my child to participate. And that's, to me, all that needed to happen here. And if the principal was on board and said, yeah, let's just send notes home, parents were aware. Those kids who, the parents could say, listen, what you're going to see might be a little bit gruesome and disturbing to watch this, but if you feel like you want to see this, then I'll support it. So to me, the teacher was so misguided and just really acted, I don't know. To me, it's almost like he's trying to be the hero and the kid's friend, and you just should have used some common sense there and cleared this with parents and your administration.
Just so you know, he was hesitant to do this at first, and then they came to him and said they would like to see the demonstration. So he said, okay, but you don't have to watch it if you don't want to.
Then you know what?
I don't think he was trying to be a hero. I think he was probably somewhat impressed that the kids wanted to see part of this demonstration.
Well, he had a farm.
Cycle of life.
If he had a farm, if he wanted to show them, then I think he could do it at his own personal farm and have the parents take their kids if they want to. I don't think it was appropriate for biology class, and I don't think they should have done it just because the kids wanted them to.
7360300. Got time for one more opinion here. Top story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
Doing
Great.
swell.
How are you?
Cool. Hey, personally think that kids ought to be exposed to stuff like this more often. We really have disconnected our kids from reality, and that's part of the problem. One of the callers pointed out that they don't know what it means for something to be dead. The teacher could have done a lot of other things like the previous lady said. I agree with that totally. But bottom line, I think that that's an appropriate lesson. When I was in school, we brought in, when we slaughtered a steer, I took in lungs for a demonstration in health class because of regarding lungs and smoking.
Did you slaughter it in front of the kids?
Not the steer, no.
Right. So, do you think you would have?
You know what we did in FFA?
Well, FFA is different than I think this 10th grade biology class.
Why? They got 10th graders in FFA.
Then you know what? Then transfer to FFA. I think the guy was wrong. Take him to your farm and show him.
Bottom line is the teacher should get an award, Teacher of the Year, or something like that. We need more teachers like that.
Oh,
Coming up, we got Nathan Jerky for the Idaho Transportation Department right here on Top Story. Welcome back to Top Story, 736-0300, always the number to call. Welcome back, Jill.
Thanks, Kelly. Same to you.
We have Nathan Jerky with us this morning from the Idaho Transportation Department. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys.
Nathan, I'm surprised you were able to make it in today.
It's a short 1.5-mile drive from my house to here, so I made her. Almost got hit once, but I made it.
What about all the responsibilities you have? People think you guys are in charge of everything here.
Well, we take care of the highways, try to clear the roads off as well, the state highways, the interstate routes as well as we can during these storms. But fortunately, I got to just come from my house this morning. So,
so Nathan, when they plan a storm like this, because they were talking for a few days, how do you guys get ready? Do you think, wow, are they really right? Are they not right? Do you have your own equipment?
We listen to several forecasts usually,
usually ours, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
We listen to like KMVT. We watch the National Weather Service. We look at all the weather bugs that are out there, and usually one of them is going to be pretty close to darn near right. So
when do you start saying, okay, we have to start preparing?
The key is to choose which one.
Well, we're prepared with whichever one we go. Yeah. I mean, you go with all of them. You're prepared one way or the other. Usually they are all coalesce the last 24 hours, and we have a pretty good idea what's going to happen, when it's going to hit. When we start preparing is about 24 to 48 hours, start getting people's schedules manipulated, knowing our crews have to be in at a certain time when the storm is going to start hitting. Like yesterday, the snow started hitting down the Nevada line about 5 a.m. So we had plows out south of Twin Falls starting bright and early, well before the sun was up. It didn't even get to Shoshone until, it was 10 o'clock in the morning before it got to Shoshone. The snow even started flying there. And further north, except for on Galena Summit, there wasn't snow hitting Haley in the Wood River Valley till afternoon. So we watch those weather. We watch the clouds as they're going through. And we get the plows out on the road when they need to be. We try not to get people out there when there's no snow. Why chase a snowflake? You get it when it hits the ground.
Well,
and sometimes we do some pre-treating as well. We get out there, put what we call salt brine, and that actually keeps the ice from forming on the roadway if the temperatures are correct. It was actually a little too cold yesterday to be using some pre-treaters like a salt brine because that only keeps the water wet till about 12 to 15 degrees, and then at that point it's going to freeze no matter what.
So Nathan, how do you know how much salt to buy? And when it kind of hit us quickly. I mean, last Sunday, my husband was playing golf, and then boom.
Sure.
How prepared in advance are you, or do you just have salt all year round, or what?
Let's see, winter ended about the 1st of March last year. We start preparing the next day. We get the plows in, start doing repairs on the plows, the plow harnesses, the sanding beds, and get that all ready to go. We order our salt and sand, and usually that's in stock stockpiled in our sheds in June and July. So we're ready for winter come August. It's really
How much salt do you go through in a season on average? Because I know it can.
I can't remember how many cubic yards or tons that we have ordered, but last year I believe we were about what we spent during winter of 13-14 was at about $1.5 million worth of salt and sand mixture throughout our district, South Central Idaho.
That's just the sand and salt.
Yes.
$1.5 million.
Yes, just for those supplies. Then you still have material, or you still have the truck costs, what it costs to drive the truck down the road. You have your personnel costs as well. So that all tallies up to a pretty decent number. But I guess I've not seen that number all collated into one big.
It would be too shocking, I think, Nathan. Too shocking for you to see that number.
We're also doing what the public wants. The public wants to have clear roads. It costs that much to clear the roads on our state highways, our interstates, and we try to get the roads cleared as fast as we can during a storm event and following a storm event.
And no matter how fast you are or good you are, you're still not fast enough or good enough for some, right?
We can't make them perfect. Unfortunately, the ice forms faster than our trucks can go around. We are limited in staff. We can't have a plow every 3 miles. And sometimes we don't want that as well, because you have to give the salt and the sand time to work into the snow, break up the snow, so we can come back an hour later and plow it off the road. Sometimes it's so you build an ice sheet, a snow floor. Sometimes you get the salt and sand in there. It has tires, traffic actually do a really good job working that into the snow and breaking it up, melting it, and then we come back. We need the time and the traffic on top of the snow for it to break up before we can come along and chisel the snow off the roadway anyway.
Have you gotten any complaints?
Just from my father-in-law. He's the only one to call so far this morning. And I even on my email, I get all my voicemails at work on my email as well. So if anybody left me a message at work, I would know about it. But I haven't heard any so far
Except
today.
your father-in-law.
Except for my father-in-law.
And what did he want?
I don't know. I didn't call him back.
Nice. Does he listen to the show? Maybe
I'll find out in about an hour.
Maybe he could call in with his complaint and we could answer it on air.
736-0300 is the number to call.
Talk to your son-in-law, Nathan Jerky. There
or
you
anybody
go.
can call right now.
Anyone, if you have any questions,
about this, because I know we had the big truck accident last night, and you don't know much about that, I guess.
I don't have any specifics on how many vehicles were involved or how the cleanup effort is. It's ITD doesn't really take we're there. We don't take a hands-on approach until ISP, the sheriff's office. We're called in to help put down some salt sand if they need help with traction on the plow or the tow trucks, things like that. What we generally do if the road is closed, we help with the detour routes. We make sure that we try to get the alternate routes as cleared off as well as possible. I guess in this case they're using a frontage road as the alternate route. So we throw a plow out there and try to clear that roadway, put some salt and sand down there, try to create some grip for the vehicles that have to be on that roadway as opposed to our interstate while it's closed. And then we get the plows out there while they're cleaning up the traffic accident and try to get that area cleaned up as well while the law enforcement's working.
For those who don't know or might be traveling through the area, there was a big truck accident during the night at the milepost 201, the Kasota Road exit. That's between Twin Falls and Burley. And they did apparently both eastbound and westbound of the interstate were closed, but they are rerouting traffic on the frontage roads. But now I understand, had a friend who went through that area a while ago and said the frontage roads are in pretty bad shape too. So just be very, very careful.
Yeah, sometimes the counties, the highway districts don't have a chance to get out there and do the same level of treatment on the roadways that the state does or a city like the city of Twin Falls does. They don't have the number of plows or they don't have the amount of salt, sand materials that they get to scatter out on the roadways. So they usually just focus on intersections, try to secure those, but the straight stretches, like on that frontage road, there's not a lot of intersections, a lot of straight stretches.
Yeah,
it's going to be slippery because it probably hasn't seen much treatment.
How do you plan for the winter? I mean, is there a formula that you use? I mean, you don't know if it's going to be a bad winter or an easy winter.
That's the tough part. We just take our historical data, try to speculate over what we've had over the last 10, 15 years and say, okay, this is an amount of salt and sand that is generally about enough to last throughout the year. Was about 4 years ago. We had a good heavy winter, and we actually had to order in more salt in about mid-February just to get us through the winter. It does happen that we have to come in and bring in more if we have a bad winter, but that doesn't happen very often.
Is there ever a shortage? Like if other states are having bad winters as well?
Yes.
And because I know some states go through tons. I mean, I used to live in Massachusetts. It's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of the northeastern states go through a lot. Colorado uses a lot of salt as well, and they're one of our primary I guess competitors in the Northwest market is Colorado. So
who can order it first?
Yeah, it
They've
really does
got
come down to who
marijuana
runs out
now,
first.
so they can throw marijuana
just
on
stay
the roads.
home.
We'll take the salt.
They don't care about no stinking slippery
That's
roads.
right.
They're home smoking pot and
Yeah,
eating munchies.
eating
There you go.
Cheetos,
No,
that's
I don't
right.
know. But no, so how do you get that? What if there is a shortage? Has there been a shortage in the past, or just like not getting it to you in time?
Sometimes we just have to spend a little bit more to get it here.
Okay.
But if the winter's that bad, we still have to maintain our roadways and get people to where they need to go.
Now, is that actually salt, or is it a chemical that's not as harsh on automobiles?
Most of it is straight salt. There are some areas of the state that uses a magnesium chloride as opposed to the sodium chloride, and it's generally in liquid form. So we usually, that is a lower freezing temperature, the mag chloride does. So we use that in colder areas. We have it up in the Haley and Stanley area for us, as well as I think there's one tank of mag chloride over in the Sublet area to go up over Sweetser Summit.
Yeah.
So just because that lower freezing temperature actually brings it down another about 5 to 8 degrees. So it does help in just a little bit more, but it does help.
Is using the salt, is it hard on vehicles or vehicles?
Unfortunately, yes. Salt is corrosive, and we do recommend that people.
But do you want a pretty car or clean roads? Huh?
Do you want? Yeah, that's the question. Do you want to have a dirty car, or do you want to have a safe road to drive on? What we've been told is people would rather have a good clear road as opposed to and be able to go clean their car afterwards.
Because your car will be bashed and it won't be so pretty then if you can't get on the roads. But how long does it take for it to start being corrosive? I mean, should you wash your car within 24 hours or what?
Oh no, salt takes a while to work. I mean, yeah, I guess immediately it does start working, but it takes years of exposure to salt before you're going to rust out the bottom of your car.
So just if you just get it washed.
Yeah, if you get it washed once or twice through the winter, you'd probably get most of the salt material off the vehicle, and you'd be all right. Which most people do clean their car once or twice during the winter. I'm not one of them, but most people do.
I'm not either. I live down a quarter-mile gravel lane, and there's no reason for me to clean my vehicle.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it would be a waste of money.
Oh, goodness. But sometimes you do like to see the color of your car, you know.
So how's the 80-mile-an-hour speed limit doing?
People either love it or hate it. It's pretty much split down the middle. And honestly, ITD was just following the law. The law passed the legislature. We went out and did.
You weren't for or against, were you, Nathan? You just had to do what you had to do because it was so urgent to change the speed limit, wasn't it?
Well, I guess it wasn't the most urgent thing, but they passed the law. We went out there and we were prepared on July 1st to change the speed limits. We did the engineering studies as mandated by law
but then it was delayed a few weeks, wasn't it?
It was delayed a few weeks just because it kind of caught even our transportation board by surprise. Did
they not read the news?
That's when they found out. Well, we just went out there and was doing our dutiful duty, doing the speed studies, the engineering studies, making sure that the roadway could handle the increased speed limit. And we did not go before the board with the actual item saying we're going to follow the law and change the speed limit. We're going to and do what the legislatures instructed us to do. They wanted us to at least bring it to them at the next board meeting. So that's what ITD ended up doing, going to them, making sure that we had their approval. The transportation board had their approval before going out and actually changing the signs. And they were okay with it. They just wanted to be informed. So
they just wanted to be part of the process.
They just want so much,
right.
don't they?
Yeah.
Come on. So have they started compiling any statistics on accidents or things like that? Would ITD do that, or would it be more the state police?
ITD does collate all of the statistics, crash data around the state so kind of how it works is there's a crash on any given day. At the end of the month, sheriff's departments, cities, ISP, they're supposed to get the data to ITD. And at the end of the year, ITD starts putting together all the data. We usually don't have all of the compiled data until late spring, early summer. And that's when we actually come out and say, this is where our high accident locations are. These are problem areas. And so it takes a while for all the data to really come out and prove itself. You can't just use 2 or 3 months worth of data because you might have just had a unique case. You might have had bad rainstorms in August, or you might have had a few really early
big windstorm.
Yeah, big windstorms, a lot of ice storms, things like that contributed to it more so than just the speed limit itself.
Yeah, okay.
And we're going to actually follow up with you on the windstorm of St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, yes.
Nathan Jerky is with us from the Idaho Transportation Department, and our number is 7360300. We'll be right back. 7360300 is the number to call. And by the way, in case you're keeping track, it's like 36 right now.
Oh.
So
I'll have to take off one of my sweaters.
Yeah, one of the sweaters.
Yeah, I have two
That's
on.
the key.
Exactly.
Yeah. We have Nathan Jerky with us from the Idaho Transportation Department. But before we get back to that, the Happy Landing restaurant at the Twin Falls Airport brings you daily the word of the day. And as you eat at the Happy Landing restaurant, it's at the Twin Falls Airport, homemade food. If it's your first time visit, you tell them that you heard about it on here on KLIX with Jill and Kelly. And if you purchase a drink or a meal, they'll give you a free piece of homemade pie.
Free piece of pie, Nathan. How does that sound? That's worth a trip to the airport.
That's actually about the closest restaurant to my house,
Yeah,
so
it is.
that'd be great.
Tell them we sent you. Get a free piece of pie.
And it is handy because they do takeout too. So every once in a while, I'll call them up and I'll go because
Oh, is that right? Is that what you do?
Yeah, that's
You just
right.
call up and say, Kelly class, give me my usual.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But Kelly can't get the pie.
Happy Landing Restaurant at the Twin Falls Airport. Tell them we sent you. Yesterday's $100 instant winning name is Terry Bivens.
Terry Bivens, congratulations.
And your $100 word of the day is paper.
Paper.
P-A-P-E-R.
Paper.
Go to our website, newsradio1310.com. Click on Word of the Day. Type in paper. Listen Monday. If you hear your name Monday and you played the word today, you win $100 coming your way. That is not a bad deal at all.
That's how easy it is.
Nathan Jerky is with us from Idaho Transportation Department, and we have a caller. Top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Nathan, I'm less concerned about the 80-mile-per-hour speed limit on I-84 than I am about other things that I believe Idaho Department of Transportation is responsible for. I mean, for heaven's sakes, people have been driving 80 on I-84 for years. When the speed limit went back to 70 or 75 from 55, and the state was told that it would be a no-tolerance speed limit, that never really proved to be the case. And so speed has always been a challenge on that freeway, and it's either speed up or get run over. However, in the county, and I am told by law enforcement that the county speed limits are set by the Idaho Department of Transportation, and I can only speak for the area that I live in, where my farm is at. Increasingly, the side roads are becoming very dangerous. I noticed that within the last couple of months, the speed limit on many of the side roads has gone from 45 for trucks and 50 for cars up to 50 for everybody. And during harvest, it was unbelievable the speeds that these large trucks were traveling. And many avoid Poline Road so that they can drive at a higher speed on the side road. So who keeps an eye on those speed limits?
Okay. Excuse me. Actually, the highway districts and cities, they have jurisdiction over their own speed limits, their own roadways. They're in charge to get speed studies, engineering studies for their own roadways. ITD only takes care of state highways and the interstate. And everybody's falls under the same set of state statutes to go out, and you have to have the engineering and traffic studies to manipulate your speed limits on any given road.
They can't just randomly say, you know what, we could probably put that at 50 miles an hour and everything would be fine. No?
Exactly. Everything has to be backed up, justified through an engineering and traffic study. And how traffic or speed limits are generally set is one of the major roles is it's called the 85th percentile. What speed is 85% of the traffic going down the roadway, and you still have to ensure that that's a safe speed limit for that roadway through the engineering. You know, if it's a straight flat stretch, 50 miles an hour. If everybody's driving 50 miles an hour, it's generally accepted that that's a safe speed. That's the engineering theory behind.
So it's based just on is it based like that gentleman said, in a farming area there might be a lot of tractors and stuff on the road. Do they take any of that into consideration?
There is a lot of other things taken into consideration. What we call roadside friction, which is the number of accesses, how many residential and business accesses that go onto a roadway, as well as Well, you take the traffic counts, type of vehicles that use the roadway, whether it's trucks, vehicles. You do throw in there agricultural vehicles as well, but those factor into the speed study. So generally we do speed studies during for about a week long, and you do that during premium weather conditions. So you don't do speed studies in the middle of winter when you can when that can change your data. You do it during the summertime when it's dry, good conditions for everybody to drive. So that way you get the best data. And remember, speed limits are only a maximum speed. You're not mandated to go that speed. You can always go slower. Unfortunately, there are a lot
unless you're from Utah on the interstate.
There's a lot of aggressive drivers out there that it does become a law enforcement issue. It's enforcement of the law. ITD just does the engineering and traffic studies to say that yes, the roadway is safe at this speed, but if people drive
you're
faster,
not arresting them, right, Nathan?
Exactly. ITD does not have enforcement capabilities, nor does the port of entry people. For people that think that they can write tickets, but they can't actually enforce any laws besides writing tickets. But it comes down to county sheriffs, ISP. So that's really where you need to talk to is the law enforcement side. People going 60 into 50 down the county road is still breaking the speed limit. So you need to be talking to your local sheriff and letting them know that that's an issue in your area.
All right, Nathan Jerky with the Idaho Transportation Department with us this morning here on Top Story. 7360300 is always the number to call here on Top Story, and I know that this is the last thing that's on your mind right now, but it will be coming up here in about 3 or 4 months, and that's irrigation. And infrared barren is something that they do at Far More of Idaho. This is an overflight of your field. They take pictures of your field in infrared photography, which opens up a whole new world of what you can see and how your field is doing. So you need to ask them about this and get set up for it so when irrigation season starts again, you will be up and running. And you can make decisions what to do with your irrigation system based on these pictures. You might think that your field is getting plenty wet everywhere, but you might be mistaken too. And that'll show it up in this infrared photography that they do with Infrared Barren at Far More of Idaho. Give them a call. Ask them about it. 324-3341, farmoreofidaho.com. They are online, and they would love to help you out with that.
That's how that works.
All right, so not long ago, I guess it was on St. Patrick's Day, it was really, really windy.
Yes.
The wind incident of St. Patty's Day.
That's right. It was the St. Patty's Day massacre.
For trucks.
Yeah, for trucks on bridges. And we had issues on the Prine Bridge and the Hanson Bridge both.
Yes.
And the truckers were kind of complaining because there was no warning or anything like that. But I understand the cavalry is on the way.
Well, they did have a windsock.
Yeah,
Don't forget about that windsock, Kelly.
One of the truckers was out there holding up one of his socks.
Yeah, which fills up anyway every day. So, okay, Nathan, what have you guys done to solve this problem?
It's taken a little bit longer to, I guess, come up with a plan of attack for this than we anticipated. We'd hoped to have something up within 3 to 4 months, but generally in Idaho, the wind is a spring issue. At least the major winds are a spring issue. So that 3 to 4 months, we would have missed most of the major wind for the year anyhow. But we plan on having a wind advisory system, a wind warning system, I guess, more than anything, out on both the Prine and Hanson bridges before the next spring, if everything goes right, if the funding comes in.
And what is that? Is it 2 windsocks or no?
No, usually the windsocks just blow right off. That was one of the big issues at the Prine Bridge was we had a windsock mid-bridge and one on the north side. Those ones always blew off. And they'd come right off and so we.
Nathan, that's when they knew the winds were extreme.
Yeah, exactly.
So when there's no windsocks, don't go across the bridge. But is this going to stop people before they get over the bridge? What's your system?
We've kind of determined really because of the amount of trucks and vehicles that go over the road over the bridges, it would be tough to store the number of trucks that if we did actually stop trucks south of the Prine Bridge in Twin Falls, where would we store trucks? We can't tell them to go park in a private lot like at the mall, at Target, Walmart, backing them up. We can't stop them on the highway because then we would completely close down the entire town. But what we can do is put up advisory warning signs saying, hey, the wind's over 30 miles an hour. Warn high-profile vehicles, RVs, and trucks, slow down. If you go slower, your mass stays lower. But once you start picking up speed, you actually create air pillow, I guess is one way of saying it, underneath your vehicle, and you're more likely to fall over.
So Nathan, so no matter how hard the wind is blowing, if you go slower. Thank you. A slower speed limit, you will not blow over.
I can't say you won't blow over. I mean, like a tornado, obviously you're going to get blown over at some point. We don't have
tornadoes here, but yeah.
But with our winds, we usually max out in the 60s. It's pretty rare we get anything above about. I think on St. Patrick's Day, our maximum wind speed was 68 miles an hour, and that's I think one of the highest wind speeds I can ever recall. Definitely in my time with ITD, but.
Did you do studies on 30 miles an hour that a truck would be safe to cross?
Yeah, there have been studies done in other states. So ITD did not initiate, but we're just taking the studies that have been done in other parts of the country. Oklahoma, Texas I think is where we got most of our information from. And about 30 miles an hour is when we start. If you got a big empty truck, that 30 miles an hour, you start seeing a lot of wiggle, a lot of movement in those trucks, and they can get not necessarily blown over, but maybe blown into another lane or pushed around quite a bit. So 30 miles an hour is probably about where we're going to set the marker for the flashing lights, signs to come on, or to be more apparent to people, hopefully. So
we have a caller actually.
Okay. Yeah, top story. You're well.
I guess
not. Okay, now here's another one that's ringing. Let's try that one. Top story. You're on the air with Nathan Jerky.
Hey, I just wanted to make a comment. If an airplane drives really slow, will it get off the ground?
Oh, that's a good point.
That's for Jill. Anyway, thanks.
It's so funny. I forgot to laugh. Anyway, Nathan, well, I mean, there is a certain level where you had to decide, if they're going to blow, or, I mean, it's not a truck, and just to inform the listener, a truck is not a plane. But anyway, go on.
Yeah, no, okay.
Oh, maybe there's another joke.
It just keeps running here. Top story, you're on the air. You got a quick question?
Yes. What happened to the slow traffic keep right on 4-lane roads?
Slow traffic, keep right on 4-lane roads. Well, we'll ask them that when we come back from the break here on Top Story with Nathan Jerky from ITD. 736-0300 is the number to call here on Top Story. Welcome back. We got Nathan Jerky with the Idaho Transportation Department. We got a caller waiting, but we had a question. What happened to those signs that says slower traffic, keep right?
And that one, offhand, I don't know the specific answer to. I don't know if there was a change in law some years ago that actually made it so that's not a requirement. It's just a recommendation that traffic should stay to the right. It's a courtesy to that you stay right when going down like the interstate. We do have the keep right except to pass on areas like US 93 towards Jackpot where we have passing lanes. But right now in the driver's manual, it says you're not required to be in the right-hand lane. And a lot of times, if it's like an urban highway, like US 93, US 30 coming into Twin Falls or Kimberly Road, you have people that turn left. There's a lot of left-hand turning, so they can't necessarily be in the right-hand lane if they're slower than you are because they need to change lanes. But on I-84, I'll have to research that more and find out and try to get a specific answer. So I encourage the caller to contact me at the office up in Shoshone sometime next week, and I will research that and see if I can find a little bit more information.
All right.
Okay, great.
We got another caller. Top Story. You're on the air with Nathan Jerky.
Good morning.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Nathan, a couple of questions. Do you, on a engineering study, take into account mailboxes, roadside garbage pickup, school bus stops as part of your pedestrian traffic? Be the first question.
Oh, wow.
So, for instance,
sure.
Highway 74, where it enters Twin Falls on Washington Street, it's 45 miles an hour, but there's a lot of pedestrian-type traffic that may not be accounted for.
Sure.
So, wondering if you've got a mailbox out front, if you consider that a pedestrian because they're on the roadside.
Yeah, we do visual pedestrian counts, so we can't do the same thing like we do with automobile counts, which we can put out the counter tubes. We count the number of vehicles. We can factor in their speed with those tubes out on the roadway. So that's all automatic. It's kind of hard to do a pedestrian count necessarily, but we do go out and do visual checks whenever doing those traffic and engineering studies. And so some days there's a lot of pedestrians, some days there's not. So that does get factored in, but it's kind of subjective because you don't know exactly how much there is out there. There's no way of calculating it. You can't have them.
Well, consistently, your mailboxes would create a pedestrian, especially if you have a pedestrian crossing the roadway to get to their mailbox.
Certainly. Well, that would factor in with the roadside friction, the number of accesses. We probably, we assume that there's going to be so many vehicles in and out of a residential access approach on any given day. If there's a business approach, we account that there's generally going to be a certain number of vehicles in and out depending on the type of industry. So that roadside friction does get accounted into the engineering study.
Question number 2.
Residential district on US 30 over by Murtaugh. Can you tell me what the factor was that created that residential district and that lower speed limit?
The amount of turning traffic off of the highway was a primary one because there's the LDS Stake Center there. There's the small store. There's the county road that turns north to go to Murtaugh. There's about 6 or 7 houses in that 3/4 mile where it's 45. There's I guess a lot of activity that takes place right there. While it's not conducive to the people that are just driving through on Highway 30, it does create a safety cushion, I guess, for lack of another word, for the people that live there that visit the church, the store, and are turning on and off onto the county roadway.
We got just a couple of minutes left for some winter driving tips.
Yeah, just one of the things I brought along just in case. Not only when you get into this time of year, not only should you be sure and have your vehicle prepared for winter. Have your antifreeze checked and in your car. Make sure your tire pressure is proper. Make sure that everything mechanically works with your vehicle. But it's always a good idea, just because we do live in a very rural state with a lot of big open spaces. If you do slide off the road, you don't know how long you might be sitting there. So I just wanted to remind people some things that might be good to have in your car, whether you can cram them into a duffel bag, just sit in your trunk or in the back seat. Make sure, if you have a cell phone, that's a good thing to have, but be sure you have possibly a portable charger that you can plug in or an extra battery, depending on the age and model of your phone. A little shovel, a little fold-up shovel or a telescoping shovel to throw in your trunk. Obviously, most of us have a windshield scraper, battery-powered radio, just in case you run out of gas or your car becomes disabled. You might not be able to listen to the radio and know what's happening out there.
And you can still listen to our show.
That's right. Most importantly.
Let's hope you break down between 8 and 10.
Other things like flashlight. Probably more important is how do you keep, if you're going to be there for more than a few hours, you're going to get hungry and cold. Have extra clothes. Have a couple blankets. Have warmer socks. Maybe a pair of boots. Have some water. It might freeze, but you can always defrost that with body heat. Tuck it in your armpit or something. Have some non-perishable food items, granola bars, M&Ms like the lady out in the hills in Nevada had.
A year's supply of Tic Tacs.
Yeah.
Chains, rope in case you do slide off, you can get towed off the road. First aid kit, that's obviously the most important thing. Some bright colored flags or flares, something if you do slide off and you go into a big snowbank and the drifting comes over the top of you, that way you can mark something. You can be seen a little bit.
As the snow plow pushes snow over your car, there you go.
There's a lot of stories from places out on Highway 24 out through Kamima area where cars disappear into snowbanks.
Yeah.
And our snow plows disappear into snowbanks out on that kind of road. Yeah. So it's not just other people, it's us too.
Yeah,
Nathan,
we're out of time.
thank you so much. Always informative.
Absolutely.
No problem, guys. Thank you.
And it's time now for the Huckabee Report. And you can hear the Huckabee Report each weekday at this time, brought to you exclusively by Waddell & Reed. Laura Nelson, Josh Funk, and Steve Stanger are the financial advisors, and the number is 736-6563. I was going to mention this. Our cable is off.
Oh, did you just notice?
I didn't remember turning off
Nathan,
the TV.
When was the last time you saw the TV on?
It was just before the last Showcase Showdown.
Yeah.
Showcase Showdown.
No, our cable is out here.
So then Kelly's totally distracted.
Every time somebody spits in the borrow pit, it seems like our cable goes out.
Who was our cable guy that came that one day? Was it Jim?
Tim, wasn't it?
Tim.
Wasn't it Tim?
Tim,
yeah.
Come on over.
Yeah.
He installed it on air. It was really nice.
I don't know. Nobody's complained that our internet is not working, so maybe it's still working.
It seems to be
TV
working.
That's out.
Yeah.
But at any rate, hey.
We digress. Today's our lunch.
I know. Today is our lunch. We'll talk about that in a second, but I need to tell you about Clearwater Power Equipment.
Yes.
Because they've got chainsaws. Husqvarna and Echo chainsaws, and you might think My goodness, I'm quite slow in getting my winter supply of firewood now. So you're stuck. Here you are. It's 38 degrees, so the snow's going to be melting. You're getting a reprieve. Stop by Clearwater Power Equipment at 252 Washington Street, 734-7767. This is your last chance. Say, hey, I need a chainsaw to go out and get my winter firewood.
I need a chainsaw. My husband's driving me crazy.
That's right. And that's a short drive.
It's a very short drive.
So you can still get a leaf blower if you want. They got those too, but our leaf raking days might be over for a while. But chainsaw, this is chainsaw weather.
Ooh.
Yeah, and they've got them at Clearwater Power Equipment. Stop by and tell them that Kelly and Jill told you to stop by.
Okay, so today's our lunch. So Nathan, is the limo going to have trouble driving on the roads?
Well,
are we going to make it from here to the station or to
as warm
Canyon
as
Crest?
it's getting out there, the roadway should be clearing up pretty well. The ice should be melting down quite a bit, especially if they're getting a lot of traffic. Between here and there, you should be okay. Blue Lakes is probably good and clear.
So
I do have an update on I-84, however.
Quick, yeah.
Good.
The roadway is now open back up to traffic through milepost 201 where that crash happened.
Oh, cool.
Okay, good.
So people can now drive the interstate.
So Nathan, have you signed up to win
good.
lunch with Kelly and Jill? Because this will be the last time people will be able to have lunch with Kelly.
That'll be a priority.
That
As
will
soon as
be
I
a
get
priority.
home, I'll get right back on the internet.
All right,
and
sounds
register.
good.
News
All
Radio
right, that's the deal.
1310.com. Enter everything you can. Today we're going to have lunch with Frank and Jim Vensmeen. And
Yep.
so...
I'm looking forward to it because I'm getting hungry.
Are you?
Yes, I am. I'm
Oh,
going to go to
my.
my desk and I'm going to decide what I want to eat today so I won't have to waste time looking at the menu.
Yeah, you've had almost everything.
I
So
have.
it's all been
I'm gonna
good.
have to start over again. All right. Hey, have a great weekend and be careful out
Be
there.
safe out there.
Yep. And we'll be back Monday. See you, Jill.
Bye, Cal.